BluntCut MetalWorks, July 17, 2021. This is S125V, 66.5 Rockwell, metric 6, sharpened with the Edge Pro at 18 degrees precise. The sharpening bevel, the shoulder, it's less than 10,000ths of an inch. But however, the actual little, think of a convex of it, or the shoulder of the convex up on the shoulder there, it's about 24 or so. No, not more of 22,000. That's right. Because anyway, of an inch thick. And this steel is a very high carbide volume. Stainless, and it's very thick. It's a 308, 0.308 of an inch thick. Very heavy. Almost play sport configuration. It's a little wide. 2 inch about here, so it's a little wide. So that I expect the test I will lose some edge. Anyway, and I set out a test criteria pretty much as if the damage is not really readily visible with naked eye, then the pass test I would an A, graded A, and if it's I think somewhere about less than a millimeter or something like that, will be a B, because again, this is the primary bevel here at 5 degree precise. So, and that's why you can see it's not a full flat level. Full flat, probably a little bit like more like a 4 degree or something like that precise. Anyway, standard test, and this is some beat up 2x4 already. So. Two by four soft, but I get stand that thing to go through, and very heavy chopper. So this is just some tree, dry wood. So it's soft. Oh yeah, I forgot to do a quick test. It's kind of windy, so this is phone book paper, really thin type. So this is actually hard. This is dry eucalyptus. I've been chopping it to heck, but this is a heavy chopper, so I can swing knife pretty hard. That is hard. That's as hard as I can swing. Well, I'm sitting down though, but I think my swing sitting down versus standing up. Well, there are a lot of things stuck on the edge here. Really hard to test the edge, but there shouldn't be anything effective performance cutting out here. Not the cutting is right here. You can see the mark. It's not a problem. I progressively getting harder and harder wood that way. If the edge buckle or big chunk come off, then I know that's the limit. This this geometry is quite thin for this heavy chopper, and with this guy, the edge geometry is not really a chopper geometry for edge geometry. This is TT rosewood, and of course getting shorter, but I would do one or two chop. So getting shorter, so I have to use this wire. I don't trust my chopping ability. So they all deflect. See that end point is always, you can see the curvature of the chop. That a lot of, so therefore that will put lateral force on the edge. But nothing so far. So this is I consider the hardest test among in this set. This is Argentine Lignum Vitae, also known as Vera wood, and you can look up the internet. I mean the wood database. It's just very hard, especially for chopper, because your edge will buckle. So with the breeder there, you can see deep penetration, big chunk coming off, and this wood is not that cheap either. So far, no big chunk. I thought that meant I would buckle. That means it would get a deflect or bend the edge. But getting a little bit harder to. So that, I think, done with the Lignum Vitae test. And the edge intact. We see that besides things stuck on the edge, we see that anything cotton tear the printer paper, I mean the phone book paper. With the wind, it makes more challenge here. No catch. I'm sure some carbide on the apex fall off. I mean, because a lot of carbide didn't shape properly. It protruding on an edge like a carbide. I mean, like a rock, a piece sit on the edge like stove, and not the whole carbide. So of course, when you torque it, I mean, instead of and a chunk of it or the boundary next to it, the interface might fall off. But it's still, you're talking about the size is about less than 10 microns, so that's why you're able to slide phone book steel. So, but the thing is, so far this one passed the test, and the other test I set out in the parameter of pretty much pork rib bone, and so I'm going to mark the area. Because pork rib bone here is pretty thin wall. And so I'm going to do more, so I don't have to chop very hard. Right. This is a little bit more substantial, and I will take my time because again to create this blade here, it's quite costly, and also the heat treat 6 so far is 7-day work, and so it's not complete. But however, I mean, actually I could stop here for this chopper because there is at this point they have maximum impact toughness. I mean impact load it can handle, or shock load. So the more shock resistant at this point. But later on when I complete it, then they lose a little bit of that. But however, it will gain tensile toughness. I didn't invent the concept there, but again, it's much stronger, and that means it hardly, I mean, the amount of loss of the impact toughness, it's not that much. When I complete it, the hardness might go up to 67. I don't know. We'll see. So I hit about this area right there. As far as chopping bone, I feel it a lot easier than chopping the Lignum Vitae. So I don't know what that cut is about, but with the wind, whoever do this test know that when the wind blow into like this, it's not, yeah, it's fine. I would take a picture, pretty much a macro picture of the, maybe, you know, of the whole edge here so you can see, and also the high magnification. Since the test turned out well, I'm going to do the test. This is an extra shade, an extra outside of the parameter of the test spec. And this is a cooked, the other one was cooked dry pork rib bone, and this is cooked. And then of course with no meat and frozen, and now it thawed it out, so it's not as dry. But anyway, I'm going to cut this here. All right. You can see the bone shadow. We see the macro pick, okay? But right now I will do a quick slide test. As far as I see, I don't see anything major enough to be concerned. There's some hesitation, so let's get a closer look. Here is the macro picture of the chopper, the S125, and this is the chopping area. Let me zoom it in there. Here the edge. There are a lot of reflection from the sun. But as you can see, basically this whole length chop in pork bone and Argentine Lignum Vitae, there's not much to it, except here you can see a little bit more rippling here. This where is the I chop in the pork rib bone, and so the initial edge geometry here, you can see the sharpening bevel here, and you thought here there's a 94/10,000 of an inch here, or 0.24 millimeter. But the belt grounded and probably at about 15 degrees precise here. So if it was 18 degrees precise and the bevel shoulder go to here, then it would be this thickness. But I think this is about 15 degrees precise here, so the thickness here may be 0.22, 22,000 of an inch or so. And here the half millimeter scale. Now this where the edge chop pork bone here, you can see the dark and the bright. Again, the bright is the deformation bent toward the camera. Dark is bent away. And some of the more clear jagged, right here you can see sharp angle. They are probably, these are carbide cluster or some fracture. So this is very difficult to see, or hardly would see at all in naked eye. So overall, I didn't take close up of other area because other area looked like the initial edge. chopping wood and pork rib bone. So this is the encouraged sign when I see that deformation can actually have taken place, and you can see overall they're bending away and toward, except for some fracture. Thanks for watching.